Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Kelvin Pham for VietNAILTV. Welcome to another webcast of the VietNAIL Group, folks. That's right. What are we talking about today? Well, there's nothing else to talk about except for the movie, the ongoing saga, folks, all right, of the outdoor situation, okay, folks? All right, it continues. The outdoor situation is still in effect, folks. We need to find some answer. I'm hoping to get some answers today. I'd like to get some updates, folks, all right? When can we get back inside is a big question that all of us nail pros, salon owners, distributors, manufacturers in the nail industry are asking. Folks, when are we gonna get back indoors? Because this outdoors is not working out too well for us, folks, all right? Okay? We're looking for opportunities, we're looking for possibilities on how we can get back indoors, folks, all right? Okay, so that's gonna be a topic that we're gonna be discussing about. Folks, this is our VietNAILTV Facebook page. Please come over here and take a look at this page. Why you wanna come here, folks? It's because we take the time to gather the information all across social media, in the newspaper, okay? Everywhere to try to bring you information that has a connection and interest in our community.
Prior broadcast that you guys did on outdoor services, the issues and the challenges, and what I did was I organized a discussion today that just complements what you guys have already discussed, rather than just complaining and rehashing. Right? I'm going to give our viewers a different perspective where you will not find anywhere but VietNAILTV, right? This is because this is the first time any salon owner, any technician is going to hear this, and so it is a must watch, it is a must share, and we're going to be talking today about what are the legal issues related to outdoor services. And I'll be candid, when I was going through my agenda, doing my homework for today's broadcast, I didn't realize there were this many issues. So you know, if I didn't know that, I'm pretty confident most salon owners and technicians never knew that either. So you definitely want to pay attention as we're going to go over today's discussion points.
Mike,
are you up in Sacramento at a rally?
I am at a rally.
You want to tell us a little about what the purpose of the rally is and who organized it? You guys aren't causing riots and looting, are you?
Absolutely not. This is a
Okay,
peaceful rally.
You look like the type.
And there are probably, it's hard to get a wide shot, but there are probably more than 350 people here
But
already.
we can't hear, right?
It just started at 1 o'clock.
Okay, and then what is the purpose of the rally there?
This was organized by Alicia Orabella, who is a licensed cosmetologist here in California. Oh, people honking for us. You can hear that. And Alicia has a grassroots movement here to promote opening up indoors, to demonstrate that we can follow instructions, that we're willing to adapt to whatever the State Board and the Department of Health wants us to do. We're prepared to do it, but we are much safer inside than we are outside. And if you follow the hashtag, you'll see it on the face, hashtag #ProBeautyInside. That's what this is all about. And we've seen a lot of people here already from all over the state. The governor is very aware that this event is happening, which is good. We want the governor to be aware, and so that's why it's important that those of us who are here in being respectful and professional and, you know, supporting the industry coming together like this. As far as particular officials, I can't speak to that right now because they're not here in attendance, but believe me, the news media is, and there is going to be news about this on your local stations. Even down in Southern California, you will see this reported. This is Alicia Orabella's event. What she wants out of this is a dialogue. She wants to collaborate. She wants to have everyone come together and be grouped together, but separate from bars, restaurants, family entertainment centers, places where you don't have control over the behavior of the people inside the business. We know we can control our clients. It's much different where we have control over client behavior, and we also have control over the space, and we can clean it.
Right. No, that's great. And then, so are you aware of any future scheduled rallies that are going on? Maybe you know, we can bring VietNAILTV on location there as well.
This is it as far as what Alicia's planned, and she's going to need to sleep well after this. She'll probably have so much adrenaline afterwards, though, because I believe she's been staying up nights planning this. This is not what she normally does, but she did it the right way by getting the permit from the state capitol to hold this rally, and with that come restrictions. For example, everyone's here is required to wear a mask and to maintain social distance, which is exactly what we're doing when we're doing it in our salons the right way.
Awesome. Yeah, I can tell by the video feed coming in, you guys are definitely social distance. Use of face masks. I love it. I love the fact that you're sending a strong, clear message to the governor in a very respectful way. So hopefully, as a result of your actions today, the salon industry is going to see some changes in the near future. Right now, I've had clients. I've talked to people. I would say that a super majority of nail salons are not open for outdoor services, right? For whatever reasons, whether it's temperature, it's just way too hot, right? Way too hot, way too windy. I can't move, furniture fixtures that are attached to my wall. I can't move a 500-pound piece of equipment. I have no electricity. I have no water. Those are the physical limitations, which I know my colleagues have discussed in quite detail. So I'm not going to go over those issues, right? I'm going to be looking at what does it take legally to do it, right? And one of the things that we're going to be looking at is city permits. A lot of cities do require permits to have outdoor operations. Just because the state of California, just because Governor Newsom, who's the head, right? I'll keep referring to him. Just because Governor Newsom and his team has said, yeah, you can do it outdoors, that doesn't mean you can just start pitching up a tent and a table outside, right? You got to look at your city requirements. Some cities will allow it, some cities won't allow it, right? And that's just homework you got to do. You have to go ask these questions. If a permit is required, you have to pay a permit fee, right? And so that's another extra element of issues we have to deal with. And then after your city gives you the blessing and gives you a document saying you can have an outdoor patio, doesn't necessarily mean that your next door tenants are going to be okay with it. If you're situated right next to a restaurant, maybe they're not going to be appreciative of chemical odors coming towards their patrons and the meals that they're having. Right? If you're cutting hair, hair's everywhere, right? They're not going to be appreciative. Even if you don't, or you do or you don't have next door neighbors, is there enough space? The physical, limitations of just spacing between the various businesses. And then obviously the last one is the landlord. You're going to make sure you got to ask the landlord, right? Some landlords, like commercial landlords, they're maybe not going to be as receptive, as accommodating, because they want to maintain a certain look, a certain feel, a professionalism to their retail center, right, or shopping mall, whatever it is that you're located in, right? So you can't just start pitching up a tent and a table. That doesn't work with those landlords. Mom and pops, probably more accommodating. But you got to be able to hunt them down. They may not even be around right now because of COVID. They're wherever they are going to be. So there's all the issues even for you make that first commitment to move a table outside, right? So you want to look at some of the issues I'm going to talk about next. I'm going to break it up into 3 groupings, if you will, to make it easier to understand. There's going to be customer hazards. There's going to be employee hazards. There's going to be employer hazards, and then kind of who's responsible for all this. Issues that could affect us, in terms of our customers. There's the tort liability, lawsuits, right? And when I say that, I mean what happens when the customer is walking around, he or she trips on an electrical cord, he or she trips on a chair, a rug. Whatever it is, they just trip, they fall. It was an accident, right? What are those hazards? The guidelines don't talk about that in details, the outdoor guidelines. It's really, practices that a salon owner or technician has to be worried about. So we want to worry who's going to be responsible if the customer trips and fall on an outside patio, though, right? Or an outside sidewalk, if you will. When those lawsuits come in, is it the owners, the salon lawsuit? Is it the responsibility of the property manager or the landlord, right? Because you're not physically within the suite anymore. You're in a common space. And under normal situation, that common area, if there's a trip and fall, most of the time it'll be the landlord that's going to be responsible, most of the time, right? But now, you know, people are going to be pointing fingers. I've been doing law for 20 years. I know what's going to happen. The salon owner is going to say it's the landlord's fault. Landlord's going to say it's the salon owner's fault, right? And then a bunch of attorneys, bunch of insurance companies get involved, right? So that's a concern that I have. I had someone say, what if my landlord agrees with me? You know, we have an agreement that I can have a sidewalk space or a patio space, right? I said, you know what, that agreement is great. That means you got their at least consent. But when there is that lawsuit, guess who's going to be also involved? The insurance company. The claims adjuster may not necessarily agree with the landlord and the tenant, right? The claims adjuster for the landlord or the insurance policy for the retail center, they may say, we're not covering this, right? This is the responsibility of the tenant. So just because you have an agreement with your landlord doesn't mean the insurance company is going to cover the claim, right? And you go to your own insurance company, you're the salon owner, you go to your own insurance company. I say, well, we're not going to cover this. You are outside the physical boundaries of our suite. So it's a non-covered claim, right? And if it's a bad accident, whoa, that's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. So we want to think about that. The other thing about the customer from the category of customer hazards, the consumer safety when it comes to the products, right? The stuff that the BBC would normally regulate. You know, to the extent there's heat, there's exposure to sunlight, there's wind, there's whatever other factors. You know, does it compromise the quality of the chemicals you're using? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that area, but that's a question, right? You could maybe we'll have our own, you know, Tom will opine on that, right? But those are issues that I'm wondering. And then, what if your chemicals have been compromised because of exposure to sunlight, the wind, and the elements? They're not as effective. They don't do their job. Something happens. There's a lawsuit. Like, oh my gosh, more lawsuits? Well, that's kind of what I have to think about, you know, as we're looking beyond the hazards as it relates to the customer. You know, what are some of their problems that they may have, right? So a lot of things for our salon owners to think about just from the customer side. You know, as a salon owner, what do I have to worry about my employees? Or as an employee, you know, what are my concerns about my own physical safety, right? OSHA comes into play, right? All the rules that OSHA had within a nail salon also apply to the sidewalk/patio area that you're using, right? All of that comes into play still. There's the equipment, the tools, right, that we've talked about, tripping, hazards, you know, things like that. The other element that you probably never thought about, and we think about it just in general terms, is heat. It's too hot to do nails outside. It's too hot to do hairs outside. I get it, and we don't want to be outside, but what happens if you set up and you stay outside for an extended duration, you know, through late afternoon? Your employees your nail techs have been working hard. They get heat exhaustion, and they then go to the hospital. Well, guess what? It's a potential workers' comp issue now, because your employee had an injury on the job because they suffered through heat exhaustion, or they had whatever, a trip and fall, right, over the tables and the chairs. Well, they're going to go to the hospital. Again, it'll trigger potential workers' comp issue. So we always want to see, you know, what's it going to take to keep my workers safe, right? And what I tell a lot of my clients is, put yourself in the worker's position. If you're working out there, are you comfortable? Is it too hot? Is it too windy? Would you be concerned about falling over? And you know, sometimes I get people who you know, they think they're really smart, really, you know, a lot of sarcasm. I say, well, what if that was your mom that was that nail technician? You know, 60-something years old. She's still working because she has to pay the bills, and she's not the most, you know, strong person. She doesn't move the fastest. If she fell, what would you feel, right? So we always want to give extra consideration to our workers' safety. So the workers' comp issue comes into play there. So have it written down. For our viewers who only, you know, read and write or speak in Vietnamese, have it in Vietnamese. I'm not saying it has to be in English. I'm saying it has to be written. right? But I would encourage, if you have a Vietnamese written policy, also have it in English, right? And make sure they say the same thing. Make sure the policies are consistent, right? Have it translated, because that's really what's going to protect you if there's a lawsuit. Either way, if you're suing or you're getting sued, written documents are so critical in today's legal environment. Now, and on the issue of handbooks, if you don't have a handbook, I highly recommend you have one prepared. It doesn't have to be 50, 75 pages. It could be as short as 5 pages, so long as it discusses the major points of the employer-employee engagement, right? That's really important. Now, during my research, one of the biggest issues I came up with, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it. Who's responsible if you are a booth renter? Right? Who's responsible? And it's interesting, if you go to the July 20th guidelines, the state of California actually kind of brushed on this issue. And it says, and I quote, establishment license holders must acknowledge that renters or lessees should only resume operations when they are ready and able to implement the necessary safety measures to provide for their safety and that of their customers. I'll be honest, as an attorney, that meant very little to me. It was so vague, I had no clue what it meant. I really do. I mean, I don't know who wrote this, but it is. It's a legal document published by the state, right? So the question is, well, Mike, all the things that you talked about outside services. Say I am the salon owner. I own the space. I'm going to rent it out to all these booth renters properly, right? I'm going to do it properly. What if the booth renter moves his or her table outside, but there's all these electrical cords and other safety hazards, and I want to tell that person, hey, you can't do this, right? Who's going to be responsible in the event of an injury? Is it going to be the booth renter? Is it going to be the salon owner? Is it going to be the property manager? Is it going to be the landlord? Right? Great question. Right? I'm not sure I have one answer. It's going to be dependent upon a lot of factors. But that's an issue I wanted our viewers to be aware of. When it comes to the issue of insurance, permits, who's supposed to pull it? What if the owner says, I don't want to pay extra money to have a patio or sidewalk for my booth renters? They should go get it. Why should I spend the money? Good question, right? Who's going to get the permit? Who has the ability, what we call the standing, the authority to go to the city and say, I need to pull a permit? I'll tell you, that booth renter, it'll be very difficult for that person to pull a permit for outside services.
Nail professionals that are frustrated, okay, that they are losing money, they cannot pay their rent, they cannot pay their bills, okay? So they are the one that's, if I'm not able to do it indoors and I have to ridiculously perform my service outdoor, only 25% of the services that's available to me, then just imagine that. Can you just imagine what their thinking is? Okay, I'm not a hairstylist, but they are the money maker in our industry. Okay, and from what I know, just the hair coloring alone that's reduced at least 60-70% of the services. So, just being not even a law-abiding citizen, just being a fellow beautician, I can totally see that why wouldn't I do it in the house? Not to say that's the right way to do, okay, folks? All right. If you do decide to do that, you do take a chance on getting fines and also getting your license being taken away. Now, that's only scratching the surface. We're only talking about the professionals that are doing that at home. My big concern is, of course, folks, you have the YouTube nail techs that are now, hey, I can do nails at home to the people, make some extra money. That's a deeper issue that we're gonna have to deal with as time goes by with this crisis. It's not gonna end right now. I don't think it's gonna end in a month from now. We are in this long process of trying to get back into our salons, okay, folks? And of course, we here at VietNAILTV, especially on the VietNAIL group, okay, we always try to bring you the most updated information to let you know what is going on and to give us to give you, the viewers, expert opinions. Okay, well, maybe not mine so much and stuff like that, but the experts you have on the panel. On that note, folks, we wish you a safe day. Make sure you be safe yourself and also be kind. All right. On that note, peace out, folks.